Collins, and I'm taking care of all global recognition programs at SAP.
Hi, I'm Sherry McMillan. I currently work as a sales compensation lead for our cloud businesses, but initially I was SAP's first recognition lead, supporting all of our global recognition programs, and recently turned the reins over to Micah.
Tell us a little bit about why was this program, this employee recognition program, started? What kind of a culture existed, and what was really the purpose and the aim of it?
Sure. So in around 2010, Total Rewards was going through a transformation, and SAP had become a large global company. We were, as of today, we're in 80 countries and have over 90,000 employees. And our Total Rewards solutions, such as career frameworks and annual salary planning, we were working on globalizing those solutions. And by the end of or beginning of 2013, we had pretty much globalized the majority of our programs, except for recognition. And what we had found at the time was that we had over 80 recognition programs worldwide, focusing on 70 different behaviors. Not all employees were eligible. People couldn't recognize from one country to another. And there were a lot of challenges with this. The programs were all highly manual. They weren't cost effective or transparent. No one knew who was getting recognized for what. We couldn't report on the outcomes. We couldn't report on how much we spend. And so we said our last effort was to try to implement a global recognition program. And so what we did, our goal was to have one global platform where employees could recognize each other, so sort of an everyone to everyone experience. They could recognize each other for the SAP culture or values. We call them our how we run behaviors. And be able to give each other small monetary tokens. So anywhere from a thank award, which could be zero, just a 0 points, up to maybe 500 points, which would equal like 500 euros. So that was the initial proposal. Now, it sounds like a simple program in context, and that's what we want it to be. We want it to be simple and easy for employees to use, but it's actually very complex to implement a program like this. And so we had to go to our HR leadership in order to ask for budget and resources in order to implement this globally. And a really robust recognition program, it costs money, right? So a really robust program that could impact and change culture spends about 1% of payroll. And for SAP, we have a $6 billion payroll expense. So it was about $60 million is what a very viable culture-changing program would cost. And we at the time estimated we were only spending about 8 to 12 million. So,
wow. Okay, wait. Those are pretty big sums. Now, I want to put this into perspective, too, for some companies that aren't as big as SAP. So you're talking about percentage of your budget, what you've allocated towards employee recognition, because that's a lot of money.
It is. It's 1%, which isn't a lot, but when you think 1% of $6 billion, it's $60 million is a lot of money.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, please continue.
No, it's fine. And so, there's a lot of complexities when it comes to implementing a program. And one of the reasons why a lot of companies, especially SAP, struggle with implementing something globally is because there are different tax laws in every country around how they're not cash awards. One of the things about a recognition program where we use points, and there's a lot of gamification out there where banks give you points, where you spend a certain amount of money, you get points to redeem for things. It's the same concept where it's got a gamification aspect where you can accumulate points and spend them on experiences and, gifts, et cetera. You can buy something for your kids, or you can buy something for your husband, or take your family on a trip based on the points you've accumulated. And that has more value than cash, right? If I give you $25 in cash and it goes into your paycheck, you're never really going to know what you spend it on. You probably spend it on bills. It's going to go through direct deposit.
Sure.
And other than the initial, email you got, you're probably not going to have many memories tied to that token. But if you get it as a points that you can then redeem for something memorable, there's more of an experience tied to that.
Well, you're talking about employee engagement. You know, if you get it in your paycheck, it's like, well, that's cool. But then after a while, it's just a part of the normal routine of your paycheck. But this, like you said, the gamification of it, the participatory in the game of giving and in the game of receiving. So that actually brings me to Sharon's first question, because you just segued so beautifully into that.
So why is the employee recognition rewards program important?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. And one of the things we didn't get the approval to do the initial global rollout, but because of that $60 million expense. But what they did say was, let's run a pilot. Let's try it in one country and let's see the results. And this is why I want to show you how important this is that it really has a huge impact on employee engagement. We ran a pilot in Ireland. Ireland only has about 1,000 employees, but over that 6-month pilot only. Considering that we have other countries like Germany has 20,000. That's amazing. Wow. Yeah, so it's one of our smaller countries, but they had a very robust recognition program in place initially before we started, and we replaced it with this one. And in the 6-month period, they gave 2,000 awards amongst each other, appreciate awards, 5 levels that they could give to each other, and 72% of their population was recognized. And we did a pre and post survey, and I have some stats here from that. One was the pre-survey said 37% were satisfied with the recognition they received for doing a good job, and at the end of the program, 71% were satisfied with the recognition they did. So it was
that's huge.
Almost doubled their satisfaction for the recognition they received doing a good job. Recognition within my organization is fair. The pre-survey results were 38%, and at the end it was 67%. So we almost doubled in how people felt about being recognized for the work and their contribution. And ideally, that's what this is really about, is to feel part of the organization, feel like you're recognized and rewarded for the contributions that you bring. And it's not just your salary or your bonus you get at the end of the year. It's those moments along the way that make you feel as if you're contributing to the greater good of the organization.
And that really makes you feel, and I think that comes to the essence of why people have jobs anyway. Because it's the purpose of your life. Am I contributing to humanity in some way? And how is that evidenced and how is that seen? And I thank you for sharing the statistics from the beta program, because wow, that's a huge, that had to spur you on significantly. So Micah, I want to turn to you in talking about further that response among the employees. Now that was the beta program that Sherry was talking about. Now that you've seen a little bit more of expansion, what has been that employee response? Are you seeing it performing the way you'd kind of hoped, and that employees are really receiving it? What has that looked like?
Yeah, absolutely good question. So we see that the usage of the Appreciate program continues and even grow year over year. So I just mentioned to Sherry and Monica before, in this year, so in 2019, we already received, or there's so many Appreciate Awards have been sent, like in the whole year of 2018. So we are, as of now, in September, we are already in the rate we had last year. So it really grows and grows. Also looking at our HR internal feedback survey. So we have a survey rating our HR services, where we have really a bunch of, and it clearly shows that Appreciate is on the employee, but also on the manager side, the best rated service we have at SAP. And that is really something we can be proud of, and really also reveals the potential of the program. It's super easy to use. People like it. We have continuous improvements by additional countries joining, but also having new ideas and to further enhance it. And of course, there are differences country by country, but looking at the countries joining year over year, the monetary version, and we had in this year, we had already we had roughly like 10 or 15 countries joining already. And for next year, we even have more plans. We really see that when countries join, also the usage rate gets higher and higher. And additionally, recognition is one of the hot topics we really have this year. So in 2019, we had different departments and areas looking at recognition as the most important one, as a moment that matters in the life cycle of each employee.
So is there a particular story from an employee that stands out in your mind of how this was an example of a positive reception for the program?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we have a lot of comments in the HR feedback survey how managers and employees appreciate the program. But what I personally really love is when people reach out to us in our department and tell a story of their lives. Like, for example, a Philippine colleague, she collected a lot of appreciate points during her time at SAP, and with that points, she granted a vacation for her whole family at her place, so at a place abroad. And she was super lucky and never would have had the chance before without the Appreciate program to grant this vacation. And she shared it with us, and she was so thankful, and that gives us back so much. So we're really looking forward to more experience stories like that, and we are always happy when an employee shares that with us.
So, Micah, what are the future plans, the expansion to additional countries and charity option?
So we are currently live with the thank you version in all SAP countries. So we already have the opportunity to send over and receive thank you awards to everyone in the company. With the monetary version, we are currently live in 43 countries. So there are more, hopefully more to come. And with 2020, we really have on the agenda to provide a global program. So this is our most important future plan, I would say, for next year, because the coverage is currently at, let's say, 73% of the workforce. So we have one or two bigger countries, and after they join, we really can talk about a global program. In addition, of course, we also have some program enhancements. So in this year, we totally revamped our tool. So we have not only a desktop version, but also a mobile version, and the new look and feel makes it even more simple to send over Appreciate awards. An additional point which came into our mind, and also we receive, and I really have to say, we receive so many great ideas from employees. So not only with the survey we do for the HR services, during the year, people just send us a mail like, oh, like Appreciate is a super nice program, but have you thought about this one and this one? So we really get new ideas. And one of those ideas was the charity option, so the donation one. We have at SAP a program which is called SAP Together. So you can propose, for example, like an animal shelter in your hometown for this SAP Together platform, and then you can send them an email and they can register, and then you can donate money. And with that tool we already have at SAP, we plan to connect to our Appreciate platform, so that if you receive a 25 or 50 bucks Appreciate award, you can then just easily connect it to the SAP Together to donate for goodwill of your choice. So that is really on our agenda, and we hopefully can implement in 2020 as well.
The ability to do something so creative, to really reach the purpose of a person, to say, I really believe in this and I would love to share it forward, basically. So somebody has shared with me their appreciation for my work in a project, and now I get to share it forward to something that's near and dear to my heart. That is phenomenal. That is a wonderful way to really propel gratitude and to make that wrap around, what is important. And I think it's really linking your company even further.
Congratulations to what you're doing, and thank you for all your work.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.